Hello, this is your host, Todd Lewis of the Rise of Folly podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Telegram, and Facebook. And you can support the channel on Subscribe, Star, Locals, and Buy Me a Coffee. So today is part 2 of Baconism, which is an exploration of the metapolitics of Baconism, with today's episode focusing on the meta-economics of energy-based economics. So without further ado, Baconism, Part 2, Energy-Based Economics. Baconism and energy-based economics more broadly operate on the principle that for any physical process, by definition, the most efficient is the one that maintains an EROI greater than 1. Economic systems are physical processes and thus can be described in this fashion. Heretofore, all previous economic systems were designed in scientific ignorance. Our current economic system of capitalism, as all other forms of economics before, is not designed in the light of this truth. Therefore, any economy based on maximizing EROI efficiency is by definition more efficient than capitalism. There is a difference between financial and energy efficiency within the capitalist system. Financial efficiency, or ROI, is do you get more money back than you put in. ROI is downstream from EROI. In fact, ROI sits on top of EROI. It doesn't matter if your ROI is good if you're in an energy sink. With all this being said, why is capitalism the dominant economic system in the West, not an energy-based system? There are vested interests who do not wish this change to occur. The simple truth is that the bottom line of too many people is hurt. It is well known that the EROI of a rail is 3 to 4 times higher than for trucks. Yet the U.S. prioritized motor transportation over mass transit. This is a market failure, where the market is clearly choosing the less efficient form of transportation. As energy efficiency is known and measurable, capitalism has to hide behind verbal sorcery in order to convince the American people that this is efficient. Therefore, an energy-based economics which prioritizes rail and mass transit would be 3 to 4 times more efficient at moving goods than the current U.S. system. The basic unit of measurement for economic activity is the joule. A joule of energy is defined as the amount of work done when a force of 1 Newton displaces a body through the distance of 1 meter in the direction of that force. This is vastly superior to our present system of currency. The value of a joule, unlike contemporary currencies, is objective and non-negotiable. You could have a scientist from Russia, the USA, China, India, and Brazil, and they would all agree on the unit of energy measurement of a joule. You cannot short a joule, unlike dollars, pounds, and pesos, as the joule's value is objective and measurable, not subjective and a reflection of people's id, which Keynes calls animal spirits. Economic activity is not, as the libertarians would have you think, primarily an issue of prices, price signals, and finance. Economic activity is thermodynamic activity, which is described and governed by scientific laws. Within the sciences, we have 3 main domains: physics, chemistry, and biology. Of these 3, physics is the most fundamental, and the other 2 sit on top of it. All physical processes are described and governed by physics and the laws of this domain. Physics seeks to take complex concepts and reduce them to simple and concise descriptions of the physical world. With this in mind, let us turn to the economy of human action. Let us use a thought experiment. Let us imagine a 14-year-old girl, Abigail, living on the American frontier in the 19th century. Abigail's economic activity is milking the cow. Milk and milk products from the cow sustain Abigail and her family. Dairy products form a solid foundation for maintaining an EROI greater than 1. Abigail is not paid. There is no price system here. Abigail does this because she needs energy. The human body can be described as a thermodynamic engine that needs energy inputs to continue in operation. If the energy inputs fall below an EROI of greater than 1, this person perishes. We engage in economic activity because we need to put energy into our bodies to keep running. Price and currency, therefore, are not the cause of economic action. Abigail, the cow, and the dairy products are a self-contained thermodynamic system that allow for life as long as the cow gives milk. This is a microcosmic example of a universal principle. All economic systems are sustained on energy inputs, being lower than the energy output. Within this framework, we have 2 kinds of actions: feng shui and entropic. An action is feng shui if it is compatible with long-term balance and entropy management. An action is entropic if it is compatible only with short-term extraction and long-term collapse. Ebenezer Scrooge, in his experience with the ghost of Christmas future, realizes that if a man persists in a course of action long enough, the result will become determined. With this in mind, if a man or a civilization persists in engaging in entropic actions, collapse is determined on a long enough time scale. No matter how strong the man or the empire, the interdict of thermodynamics cannot be brooked and will lay you low. This is the true invisible hand. For like the blow struck by the old ones, the city does not see the hand that smites. By the same inference, life, civilization, and growth are the necessary result of feng shui actions, or to use the interjection from Terry McGinnis from the DCAU Batman Beyond, shui. Be shui, my friend. If we view human action from the individual all the way up to international relations as a set of nested energy systems, we will begin to see how thermodynamics can be applicable. Joseph Tainter has applied the use of EROI and thermodynamics to human society to describe the rise and fall of human political systems. Civilization is described as a high-energy state. Collapse is seen as a low-energy state. High-energy state societies are fragile and easily disrupted. They require expansion in order to add more energy into the system. Low-energy states are sustainable, as they are in equilibrium with the environment around them. The goal of an energy-based economics is to avoid collapse. Let us envision three spheres nested into each other. The largest sphere, the shell, contains both interior spheres. The middle sphere, the membrane, contains the innermost sphere. The innermost sphere, the core, is the smallest sphere and forms the center. With this image in mind, the core represents the individual, the membrane, any given economic system, and the shell, physical laws. The individual is governed by both given economic systems at the time and physical laws. Both are so vast that to him they seem for all practical purposes indistinguishable. The economic system often falls into this trap as well, being unable to distinguish itself from the laws of the universe that govern it. Economic activity is in fact governed by scientific laws as it operates and exists within a framework of physical processes by definition. If individuals and economic systems engage in entropic activity, entropy builds up in the system and it collapses. Such a process occurs more quickly for an individual than a system due to the factor of size. This has the practical effect of hiding the built-up entropy and cause and effect. If we compare our current capitalist system with the proposed energy-based system in this nested sphere analogy, we find there is an inefficiency. As capitalism is built on a thermodynamic system, capitalists must make practical conversions, much as a schoolboy converting from metric to imperial, between price and energy efficiency, between ROI and EROI. This is wasteful. The energy-based system makes no such conversions, as the measurement of energy in a system is the basis of its existence. Once more, and this is the hardest thing for people to grasp, when I am proposing an energy-based economic system, I am not fundamentally asking mankind to construct something new. This does not mean that new economic systems will not be constructed. They will be. It does mean that capitalism is not a reflection of existing realities, but a human construct. We can therefore say that such activity is human-dependent. If we imagine that tomorrow all humans around the world stopped maintaining the capitalist system, it would collapse, as it only exists due to their actions. The laws of physics broadly, and thermodynamics more narrowly, exist independently of human thought or action. They operate without considering us. This means that an energy-based system of economics is not building something new. It is recognizing that we are existing in an energy system and build structures based on this scientific understanding, what the Chinese called feng shui or shui. In conclusion, an energy-based economic system understands that all economic action is physical in nature and can therefore be described by the laws of physics. This means that the most efficient form of economic action is one that maintains an EROI greater than 1. This means that EROI is greater than ROI. It understands that there is a dynamic system of energy flows governed by physics in which all economic actions occur and cannot be ignored. The goal of economics, then, is to actively conform economic institutions to this reality. Capitalism does not do this. Baconism does. All right, everyone, that is all that I have for tonight. Tune in next week for part 3, dealing with energy-based economic relations. This is Todd Lewis of the Praise of Folly podcast, signing off.